Around 15,000, there are so many good smartphones from so many different brands. From the RealMe itself, the RealMe X2 is a very good smartphone, and it offers you all the latest thing like the glass design, the latest 64 megapixel camera, AMOLED display, in-display fingerprint sensor, a smaller notch. There are a lot of things available in the RealMe X2, but it's technology. With time, everything changes, gets older. So now we have an updated RealMe X7 3G that we are calling it as a RealMe X2. So this is a quick unboxing and first impression. Let's see what's new in the RealMe X2 compared to RealMe XT. How is this phone overall? And already there are good videos I have made for the RealMe X2, like the shot on RealMe X2, the gaming tests, battery charging and drain tests, durability. You guys can check out with that. And just after a few weeks, we're gonna see the full review of the RealMe X2. So stay tuned for that. Paperwork, TPU case, USB Type-C cable, 30-watt VOOC charge 4.0, SIM ejection tool, and at the last we have our phone. So those were the box content, and here is the RealMe X2 itself. So this is a new color which you can see. This is being called as a pearl green, and we already have another color. This is a pearl white, and you're also gonna get a RealMe X2 in the pearl blue color. So this is RealMe X2 Pro. So the color will be similar to like that only. Now let's do a quick overview of the phone itself. And here on the rear side, it is again the 3D glass design, and it is having the Gorilla Glass 5 protection, and we have seen in the durability test this is really a good glass overall. And here you have the 64 megapixel camera. You have a SIM tray which takes two SIM card and an SD card in together. Below to that you have volume buttons, the plus and minus, and here on the bottom you are getting a 3.5mm headphone jack slot, the USB Type-C charging connector, and you have a bottom speaker, and there is a talking mic also. On this side, left side, you have a power button which is of the metal, and it has a gold accent on it. On the front, you are getting an in-display fingerprint sensor, same like the RealMe XT, and the display is AMOLED Full HD Plus display. The design is exactly similar as the RealMe XT. You are just getting a new color which is refreshing and very good. Now let's talk about some of the good points of the RealMe X2 which were already there on the RealMe XT. The first thing you will see is the display itself. This is the Full HD Plus AMOLED display, and it is really great, and the screen to body ratio is very less itself. The screen is really bright and it goes up to 430 nits, and the pixel density of the screen is 402 ppi. Now being in AMOLED display itself has a lot of advantage. The first obvious thing you will see is like really the colors are very sharp. I mean, it is basically very good for if you're doing a lot of media consumption, and since the notch is very small, the bezels are very small, and this device does have a wide L1 certification. So now let's talk about the camera. What's good, what's new here? So this is same sensor which is being used on the RealMe XT. It is the 64 megapixel Samsung GW1 sensor, which is very nice sensor. I mean, being a more megapixel, you do get a lot of advantage. I mean, you can take photo, do a lot of zoom in, overall sharpness will be much better. Along with that, you're also going to get an ultra wide camera of 8 megapixel. We just take really nice wide shot, and another we have is the macro lens. It's of 2 megapixel quality, and it can take macro up to 4 centimeter of focus distance. And at the last, you do have a 2 megapixel of the depth sensor, which will help you in take better portraits. So this is about the hardware details of the rear camera. Now what's new on the rear camera? This is the first software feature which is added on the RealMe X7 3G. So first one is obviously the megapixel improvement. So 32 megapixel is quite good. And this is the front camera bokeh. Everything is blown out. You don't need to bother about the dynamic range and all the stuff. And by default it is 60. I have set it to 80. And this is how the front camera looks like. Now this same feature is there on the rear camera too. I will show you that in just a second. There is a new feature on the RealMe X2, which is this one, that is the bokeh mode on the rear camera also. RealMe X2 Pro has this feature. Now same feature has been brought to this smaller one, the X7 3G X2. And this is how it looks like, and I have this time taken the maximum bokeh level 100% by default, like I told, it is on 60. And if you're wondering how does it look like when you compare to the normal mode, so this is how if you just do side by side with the RealMe XT, this is how it looks like. And I guess it is cool feature. It's a DSLR feature. We are getting new innovations on the smartphone camera. So this is the ultra steady mode or the super smooth mode on the RealMe X2, and hopefully this should makes the video super more stabilized, and I believe it should be in the 1080p, whatever more resolution you will set, it should go to the 1080p, because making things stable on the 4K is really very tough. And as told you earlier, on the X2 Pro, this came there first time, now it is here also, and you can also do the wide angle shot stuff. So do check out the shot on RealMe X2 video. Moving on to the front camera, this time you are getting an upgrade, and it is 32 megapixel front camera this time. So more megapixel means more crazy selfies for you, and it would also help you if you are doing some kind of TikTok video or front camera recording. So more megapixel always helps in making photos overall sharpness good. So those are some of the hardware features of the RealMe X2 camera. If you are still interested in seeing the actual photo quality, do check out the shot on RealMe X2. Now what's new on the RealMe X2, especially if you're talking about the performance? So this time you're getting a latest Snapdragon 7 3G processor. So just for a quick reference, Snapdragon 7 3G is around 35% faster in terms of CPU performance when compared to Snapdragon 710. And if you compare with the 712, it is around 25% faster. And if you compare with the 7.3, so it is around 15% faster. So those are just the quick numbers in comparison. How actually is the processor in the real life? So I have done a detailed gaming test, and I played around 90-minute continuous game on the RealMe X2. So you guys can check out that video too. So in summary, I didn't notice any lag at all. I mean, it just plays well. So overall performance is really very great. So in the future, we're going to compare it with other popular processor from the MediaTek and Kirin and the Samsung Exynos. Let's see how does it compares against those brands. But itself on the RealMe X2, the 7 3G is very capable, very good processor. It is based on the 8 nanometer CPU technology, so which is very crazy, very good. And you do have the 6 or 8 gigs of RAM option. So that means with higher amount of RAM, there will be no issues in the memory management. Everything will be super smooth. So do check out the description for seeing the 90-minute gaming test. You can actually feel and see how is the gaming performance of this processor overall. So we got the improvement on the camera, we got the improvement on the processor. There is another surprise for you. So RealMe X2 has a battery capacity of 4000, which is there on the RealMe X2 also. But now you're going to get a 30-watt VOOC charge 4.0 support on this device. That means you can charge a device really crazy. And I guess in this price segment, it is very rare to see such a faster charging, and that itself available on the box too. So how long does it take to charge? You can also see the complete battery charging and the drain test. All I can say is that in just 1 hour quick top up, you can go up to 2 days. So charging is really very good on the RealMe X2 now. Speaking of this software, you are now running the latest ColorOS 6.1, and very soon you're going to get the ColorOS 7 too, which will be based on the latest version of Android. And here is the about version of the phone. This is 8 gigs of RAM variant, and you have the ColorOS version 6.1, which is very nice. You can actually enable the dark mode and all the thing you can get on that. So being an AMOLED, you do have advantage of having the black screens. It is strictly your personal preference about the software needs, but all I can say is that I haven't noticed any app crash, any lag so far. Like the processor itself is very great, and it now has a more amount of RAM, the latest processor. So everything is super smooth on this device. You can see it just works very great. Speaking of the audio, you have a single speaker on the bottom, which is very straight thing on all the budget phones. But you do have the Dolby support. If you just go and search like the Dolby, you get the Dolby Atmos support, followed by the high-res audio system also. So sound quality will be great, because we know that how the Dolby Atmos sounds like. So overall sound quality is very great. That's been it, guys. This is a quick unboxing and the first impression of the RealMe X2. Do check out the description. There are a lot of good links from my other channel. You can see the complete battery charging, drain test, a 90-minute gaming test, the durability test of the RealMe X2, which is going to be same as the RealMe XT. And very soon we are going to see the full review of this phone, like all the pros and cons. And later on we are going to compare it with other brands too, like what good, what's bad compared to other brands too, which is a good decision before buying this phone or not. I hope you really enjoyed this unboxing with the first impression. So this is Saurabh. See you guys very soon. Till then, have a great day.